Hi guys! For the 10th day of my 12 days of Christmas, we'll be working on this Christmas Reciprocal Gradient Accent. And full disclosure, this was originally going to be a full manicure, but I kind of started getting tight on time, and so in the interest of getting this recorded faster, it kind of got pared down to just an accent nail. But I decided to do kind of two different variations of the same color scheme. This one is not inspired by an ornament, but it is one that I had in mind ever since I started planning out the series this year. So if you'd like to see how I did it, just stay tuned. Starting out with clean, dry nails, I'm going to be applying a base coat. I'm using Ready for Takeoff, which is a peel-off base, and you can use whichever is your personal favorite. The colors that I'm going to be using today are all Zoya. The white is Purity. The red is Elisa, which is also what I used for the red and gold swirls. And the green is Holly. And I think these are just like the perfect Christmas red and green. I'm going to be doing 3 nails on each hand white, 1 green, and 1 red. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add a layer of top coat, Sèche Vite as usual. And this is going to serve a couple purposes. One is that the nails that I'm not sponging on, this will keep any unintentional accidents of smudging them. And 2, on the nails that I am sponging, this will keep the sponge from picking up the base color. I definitely do recommend a barrier of some sort when sponging. I'm going to be using Simply Peel. And I'm just going to apply that right around the cuticle and the edges of my nails on both of my ring fingers. So the next step is just to get the colors loaded up on the sponge. This is just a normal makeup wedge, and I'm going to apply a good amount of the white in the middle, and then the red slightly overlapping to help it blend. And the green, again, slightly overlapping. And I'm going to do the green at the cuticle and the red at the tip for this first one. And then on my other hand, I decided, just because why not, I'm actually going to do the reciprocal the opposite direction so that you guys can see and choose whichever you prefer. So once I get the polish applied on here, on my left or on my right hand, I'm going to start with the red at the bottom, like this. And I don't normally sponge my right hand on camera, so this is a little tricky for me, but I'm just going to repeat that a couple times on each side till the colors are opaque. I'm going to go ahead and peel off the liquid latex, which is already coming up a little bit on the one side, and on my other hand as well. I feel like this gradient turned out a little bit rougher, but it's workable. Hello, come on. Liquid latex. Then I'm going to go ahead and go around the edges. You could wait until both layers are done before doing this, but I don't want it to get too thick and gnarly around the cuticle. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up right now. And once I finish this, I'm going to speed it along in the drying process with another layer of Sèche Vite. Once the gradient is completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and tape it off. I decided to use the tweezers because striping tape always seems to really stick to my fingers. So I'm going to try and get this one right down the center, like that. And then I'm going to apply one on either side, like this, just parallel. You can do different pattern if you want, but this is just kind of, I don't know, this is the first way I did it, so I always kind of think of this as like the original way. And make sure they're straight enough that they're not going to frustrate you later. You can replace them as you need. Make sure they're completely smoothed on. And then I'm going to take my original sponge and I'm going to cut the end off. And I generally don't like working with the end cut off because it makes the side that I like to use too short for my nail, like that. But I'm just going to use this to add a layer of white. And I'm adding that by sponge rather than painting it on because I'm hoping I'll get less seeping underneath. And I need to do it because otherwise the green and the red on the top layer are going to turn out a different color than on the bottom. So I'm going to might let that dry for a minute and then do one more coat and then move on to the sponging. So let me be an example of why you should not rush, because I just realized I didn't put down any Simply Peel. So I'm going to be having a heck of a lot of cleanup once I get done with this, but I guess it'll be a good example of why you should always use a barrier. But I'm just going to, like I mentioned, get started on the sponging, and I'm just going to put the colors in the opposite direction. So on my left hand, I'll be putting the green toward the tip, and on my right hand, I will be putting the red toward the tip. Once you finish the final layer of sponging, you want to go ahead and peel up the tape. And as you do, the opposite gradient underneath will be revealed. And you have your reciprocal. So I'm just going to repeat that on my other hand. Now, I did remember to put Simply Peel on this hand, but I actually did it on top of the tape. So I'm not sure how well this is going to come off. Might have to kind of do it in pieces. Oh, there we go. I was afraid it might pull up the tape at the same time and become somewhat of a mess, but it's actually coming up pretty nicely. And get this last piece of tape here. Whoa. There we go. So if I get these right next to each other, there you can see the difference both in the direction of the reciprocal gradient and then the difference between using Simply Peel and not using Simply Peel. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my left hand with some polish remover. I'm going to get the big parts with a Q-tip and then move in with my normal brush. Finally, finishing off with one more coat of Sèche Vite. So here's the finished manicure, and you can see the two different kind of layouts to the same color scheme. I really like the way both turned out. I thought I might have a preference, but I really don't. Maybe let me know down in the comments if you prefer my left hand or my right hand. And maybe after I wear it for a little while, I will pick a favorite. But I will unfortunately only have this on for a little while because I have 2 more days of nail art to do and not much time to do it in. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, so that you're notified when those go up. The last 2 are a couple more that are inspired by ornaments, and I'm really looking forward to both of them. They're designs that definitely can be worn at any time, even though they're inspired by Christmas ornaments, because I figure, unlike me, most people are probably not going to be doing their nails in the next couple days. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you all have a safe and happy holiday. And as always, thanks for watching.